Hello friends, welcome to our YouTube channel Code 369. We are learning Bootstrap and this is full stack development course. Today is class 68 and we are learning Bootstrap from the website Free Code Camp, and I have given link in the description box to access this website. And here there are a lot of front-end development libraries available and we are going to learn everything. Okay, now we are learning Bootstrap and the following will be jQuery, SASS and React, all these things. Okay, so now we are learning Bootstrap, and in Bootstrap also we have completed 17 exercises of 31. Okay, now we are going to see line up from elements responsibly with Bootstrap. Now let's get your form input and your submission button on the same line. So what we are going to do is we are going to make this input, okay, input and the submit button on the same line. Okay, we will do this the same way we have previously by using a div element with the class row, okay, and other div elements within it. So the same thing we are going to do. Both your forms text input and submit button within a div with the class row. Nest your forms. So all these things we have seen already. Okay, so this is very simple. So this is what our HTML file, okay, the same file of what we have here. Okay, so we are continuing this from the previous class. So all these code were written in the previous class. If you did not watch that, start listening from the previous class. Okay, so that is where we started Bootstrap. So this is the second class of Bootstrap. Okay, that was the first class of Bootstrap and this is the second class of Bootstrap. So now we are going to open this file, okay, in the browser. So I have stored the VS Code folder in the desktop, okay, the folder which we have created for VS Code, and in it I have created VS Code again, and I have created HTML and CSS projects folder also. Okay, in that folder we will be having our HTML1 file. So let me open it. So this is what our file is. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to make the input and the submission button on the same line, okay, using grid, and we are going to give input with the value of column xs7 and button with the value of column xs5. Okay, so let us do it. So at the last we are having our input and the button element. Okay, so we are going to make it nested inside a div element with the class row. Okay, so give a div element, select this and paste it here. Okay, so we are going to give class row. Okay, then what we are going to do is we are going to nest input and the button element inside div element. Okay, inside div elements. So if you did not watch the previous class, go and watch it and then come here. Okay, then only you can understand the concept which is involved here, otherwise you cannot. So we have nested two developments inside a development called class row, and in each development we have inserted the input element and the button element. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to give class equal to call xs7. Okay. So that is what the value they have set, call xs7 for the input element, and here call xs5. Okay. So 7 plus 5, that is 12. So 12 is the grid system that we are using. Okay. So the total value should be 12. So press Ctrl S and go back to your browser and reload this. And now you can see, this input text field and also the submit button has got arranged in the same line. Okay. And this has got the 70% of the width. No, sorry, this is not 70%. This has got 7 by 12 of the width, and this has got 5 by 12 of the width. Okay. So that's it. So copy this and let us paste it in the free code camp. You can write code directly here, but I am using VS Code for some flexibility. Okay, like we can see the code clearly in it. Okay, for that only I am using VS Code, and it will be easy for you to understand when you are seeing code written in VS Code. Okay. So what we are going to do is, I have cut this. Okay, I'm sorry, I have to copy this, and I should remove these two elements and paste it here. Okay, press Ctrl Enter. Now create a Bootstrap headline. Okay, now let's build something from scratch to practice our HTML, CSS and Bootstrap skills. We will build a jQuery playground which we will soon put to use in our jQuery challenges. To start with, create an H3 element with the text jQuery playground. Color your H3 element with text primary Bootstrap class and center it with text center Bootstrap class. Okay. So here itself we will write the code, or otherwise we can use here also. Okay. So we should write code here. Okay. Because this is the closing tag of the class called container fluid. Okay. Container fluid. So this development is the closing tag of the container fluid. So we have to write above it. Okay. So what they are saying is to start with create an H3 element with the text jQuery playground. Okay. So create a H3 element. H3 element with jQuery playground. Okay. Text of jQuery playground. Okay. And this playground should be in caps. Okay. Then color your H3 element with the text primary Bootstrap class and center it with text center Bootstrap class. Okay. So we are going to use two classes. Okay, Bootstrap classes, and they are, one is text primary. So this H3 element will be assigned with the text of the color of the app. Okay, and then text center. So this text will be center aligned. Okay, that's it. Press Ctrl S and go here and reload. So now you are having jQuery playground in blue color, and blue is the color of this app, primary color of this app, and it is center aligned. Okay. So just copy this and paste it in your Bootstrap. Okay, this free code camp. Then what they are saying is, now let's make sure all the content on your page is mobile responsive. Let's nest your h3 element within a development with the class container fluid. Okay. So we are doing all these things from scratch. Okay. So let us remove all the above code. Okay, including the container fluid. So okay, including the container fluid. And also we should remove these style element also. Okay. So all the other things can be here. Okay. Then what they are saying here is, we should make our h3 element stored inside the container fluid. So I already told in the previous class, first thing which you have to create is a development with the class of container fluid. Okay. So container fluid is used to have the page of full width. Okay. So we already saw it in the previous class. So now we have stored our h3 element inside the container fluid. Okay. Press Ctrl S and go here and reload. So initially we will be having like this. Okay. So the same thing we are going to do in this place also. So let us create a development with the class of container fluid. Okay. Close the development here. Now create a bootstrap row. Okay. Now we will create a bootstrap row for our inline elements. Create a development below the h3 tag with the class row. So now we have to create a class called row. So give development and to the development give the class row. So give class row. Okay. Press Ctrl Enter. Create a development below the h3 tag. Oh, this development should come below this. Okay, because this development is the element of container fluid. Okay, so that's it. Press Ctrl Enter. Now that we have a bootstrap row, let's split it into two columns to house our elements. Okay, so we have to create another two developments. Okay, these are all already we have seen. So now what we are doing is, we are creating a grid. Okay, we already know all these things. So I am just copying it, Alt Shift down arrow, and we have to give column space of column XS6. Okay, so we know what are all these things. What is call XS6? We already know it. Call XS6. Okay. So to this development also we have to give class of column XS6. So two elements will be created. Okay, and they will be occupying 50% of the whole width of the page. Okay, this development will be occupying half of the width, and this element will be occupying half of the width. Okay, because 6 plus 6 is 12 and 12 is the column width. Okay, 12 is the page width that we have. Press Ctrl Enter. Now create Bootstrap wells. Bootstrap has a class called well that can create a visual sense of depth for your columns. Okay. So let us copy all these things in our VS Code. Okay, let me remove this also. Okay. So copy all these things into our VS Code. Okay. Then what they are saying is Bootstrap has a class called well that can create a visual sense of depth for your columns. Nest one development with the class well within each of your call access 6. Nest one development with the class well within each of your call access 6 developments. Okay, so we want to create a development within each column access 6. Okay, so I am creating a development, and here also I am creating a development. Okay, if you type div and press enter, this will be coming. Okay, and we have to give the class name of well. Okay, so here we have to create the class name of well, and here also the same thing, we have to create the class name of well. Okay, sorry, in the development we have to create, so here, okay, class equal to well, and that's it. Let me cut this, okay, and paste it there, copy and replace with that. Okay, press Ctrl Enter. Now add elements within your Bootstrap wells. So now let us see what has happened in our code. Okay, reload it. So you can see nothing because we have not added any content. Okay, let me save this and go to the browser, reload. So yeah, you are having now two wells. Okay, so these are called as wells. So inside the column access6, what we have done is we have created a development with the class well. Okay, so here also we have done the same thing, and you can see the class well here. Okay, so this is called well. Then what we are going to do is, now we are I think so, now we have several developments deep on each column of our row. This is as deep as we will need to go. Now we can add our button elements. Next 3 button elements within each of your developments having the class name well. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to create 3 button elements inside the well. Okay, inside this well. So we have to create 3 button elements. Give Alt Shift down arrow. Okay, and here also I am going to add 3, so Alt Shift down arrow. So now we are having 3 button elements inside each class well. Okay, so just copy this and paste it inside our class well. Okay, here also the same thing, press Ctrl Enter. Now what we are going to do is, Bootstrap has another button called btn default. Okay, another button class called btn default. Apply both the btn and btn default classes to each of your button elements. So for all the button elements we are going to give btn and btn default. Okay, so let me remove this, and I am going to give class of btn and btn default. Okay, and let me copy this by Alt Shift down arrow. So each button element will be having class of btn and btn default. Okay, so remove this also, give Alt Shift down arrow and give Alt down arrow and give Alt Shift down arrow. Okay, so this is what we have to do here also. So remove this, so give class of btn and btn default. Okay, and just copy this, Alt Shift down arrow. So we are going to have another 3 buttons for the below column access. So Just copy this also. Sorry. So just copy this also and paste it here. Press Ctrl Enter. And now let me reload it. So I did not save this. Save this and reload it. Now you are having 3 button elements inside the well. Okay, that is what we have done here. Then press Ctrl Enter. Sorry, we should do exercise. Okay, not every class needs to have corresponding CSS. Sometimes we create classes just for the purpose of selecting these elements more easily using jQuery. Give each of your button elements with the class target. Okay, so what they are saying is not every class needs to have corresponding CSS. So what they are saying is we will not have classes only for using CSS. Okay, so classes are used for multiple purposes. For example, we can use Bootstrap, okay, and also we can use jQuery and all these things. So what they are saying is class is not only used for CSS. That is what they are saying. Okay. So now for all the button elements we have to create a class of target. Okay. So how to create? You have to add class of target here. Okay. Give space and give target. So this also will become one of the classes. Okay. So give target. And here also give target. Okay, let me copy this and paste it here. Press Ctrl S. Okay, here also do the same thing. For all the button elements give the class of target. Okay, let me copy this and paste it in every button. Press Ctrl Enter. Now add ID attributes to Bootstrap elements. Okay. Recall that in addition to class attributes, you can give each of your elements with an ID attribute. Each ID must be unique to a specific element and used only once per page. Let's give a unique ID to each of our developments of class well. Okay. So what they are saying is we can give ID also. Okay. Let's give a unique ID to each of our developments of the class well. So we have to give unique ID to all the elements of the class well. Okay. So what are the elements of the class well? These are the elements of the class well. Okay. So to this we have to give unique ID. So how to give ID? Give ID equal to, for example, I am giving button 1. Okay. So just copy this and paste it. So we should give a unique ID. So I am giving button 2, button 3 and button 4 and button 5 and button 6. Okay. So let me copy this whole class of row. Okay. And paste it here, replacing everything. So this whole class of row will be taken out. Press Ctrl Enter. So what they are saying is we have to create. So I have done mistake here. What they are saying is we are having two wells, and for each well we have to create a unique ID. Okay, so that is left well and right well. So I have done mistake. So what I am going to do is I am going to undo all these things. Okay, then so this is the left well, okay, and this is the right well. So I have to give unique ID for both of these things. So give ID and as left well, and for here I am going to give ID and right well. Okay, so now copy all these things and paste it here. Okay, press Ctrl Enter. Your right well should have the ID of right well. Okay, what's wrong in it? Sorry, I have mistake here. Okay, I have created ID in the call XS6, but for the well only we have to create the ID. I'm sorry. So paste it here. Okay, so take this right well ID and paste it here. And here also the same thing. Here I have created the ID, but you have to create the ID for the well. So give it here. Okay, press Ctrl Enter. Now label Bootstrap wells. Okay, for the sake of clarity, let's label both of our wells with their IDs. Above your left well, inside its call access6 development, add a h4 element with the text left well. Okay, so above our left well, what we have to do is we have to add hash left well inside the development. Okay, so where so here, okay, above our well, we have to create h4 element and we have to add hash left well. Okay, so give hash left well and do the same thing here also. Above the well we have to add a h4 element which is having the text of hash right well. Okay, so just copy this and paste it above the right well. Okay, above the left well, and copy this and paste it above the right well. Okay, so here press Ctrl Enter. So save this and see the output how it works. For example, reload it. So some mistake is here. So what is the mistake? So the mistake is I have copied some more things. Okay, previously I have done a mistake here. So this is a mistake, I think so. Oh, I have made a big mistake, I think so. But this is correct code. So let me copy this. Okay, and go here. Remove all the things from the body element and paste it here. Press Ctrl S and go here and reload. So now we are having the correct code. Okay. So what we are having here is we are having a well. Okay. First of all, we have divided this it into two parts using call XS6. Okay. And inside the call XS6 we have created a heading, okay, and a well, okay. And in here also we have created a heading inside call XS6 and also a well, okay. And inside the left well we have created 3 buttons and inside the right well we have created 3 buttons. That's it, okay. Next what we are going to do is give each element a unique ID, okay. We will also want to be able to use jQuery to target each button. Give each of your buttons a unique ID starting with target 1 and ending with target 6. Okay. So for left well we are going to give buttons with ID from target 1 to target 3, and for right well buttons we are going to give ID of target 4 to 6. Okay, that's it. So what we have to do is we have to give each button ID of what? Target, okay. So give ID equal to target 1. So just copy this and give for all the buttons, okay. Sorry. Copy this. So for here also you have to give the same thing. So for each button we have to give a unique ID. So I am giving target 2, target 3, and for the right well it should be starting from 4 and 5 and then 6. Okay. Press Ctrl S to save this. And here also we have to do the same thing. So let me copy this target 1, okay. And let us do it here. For the button 1 I am going to copy this, and for the button 2 I am going to copy this, and for the button 3, and like that for button 4, button 5, for button 6, okay. And I am going to give unique ID. So I am going to change target 2, target 3, target 4, target 5, target 6. Okay, press Ctrl Enter. Now we are going to label the Bootstrap buttons. Okay, just like we labeled our wells, we want to label our buttons. Give each of your button elements text that corresponds to the ID selector. So what they are saying is we have to give text to our button as the same name as we give for the ID, okay. So we have to give text as the ID name. It means we have to give text the same name as ID, okay. So this button is having ID of target 1, so give target 1 here, okay. So let us copy all the things inside the button, okay. This button is target 2 and this is target 3 and this is target 4, this is target 5 and this is target 3. Press Ctrl S and go to our browser and see what happens. Press reload it, okay. So now we are having buttons target 1, target 2, target 3, okay. Target 4, target 5, target 6. So that's it. So do the same thing in the free code camp, okay. So give target 1 for the button 1. Okay, copy this. So we have given all the names, okay. You can see here target 1, target 2, target 3, target 4, target 5, target 6, okay. Press Ctrl Enter. Or it should be having hash, okay. Your button element with the ID target 1 should have the text of hash target 1. So what they are saying is we should add hash in the text, okay. So add hash inside every text. Press Ctrl Enter. Now use comments to clarify code, okay. When we start using jQuery, we will modify HTML elements without needing to actually change them in HTML. Let's make sure that everyone knows they should not actually modify any of this code directly. Remember that you can start a comment with, okay, this. Add a comment at the top of your HTML that says code below this line should not be changed. So this is nothing but the same HTML comment, okay, because all the things we are doing is in HTML. So we can do HTML comment here, okay. If you are familiar with HTML, these are all things that you may be already knowing, okay. So in order to insert a comment, we have to give less than exclamation hyphen hyphen and after that hyphen hyphen greater than, okay. So we have to add a text, code below this line should not be changed. So code below this line should not be changed, okay. And I think so you know what is a comment. Comment is a thing which is used for giving some information, okay. Like we are giving the code below this line should not be changed, okay. And this comment will not be executed. For example, let me save this and go to the browser and reload. So you will not be having that code here, okay. So that is what the usage of comment is. So copy this comment and place it in free code camp, okay. Press Ctrl Enter. So that's it. Now we have completed our Bootstrap class, okay. So next what we will be seeing is jQuery. Actually this is the starting of the jQuery, okay. So let us get back. Actually this is not getting back, so go again using here. So you can see we have completed Bootstrap 31 of 31 exercises. Next we will be seeing jQuery, okay. jQuery is one of the most widely used JavaScript libraries in the world. So we will see it in the next class. So thank you for watching my videos, friends. Thank you for supporting me and please do subscribe and let us see in the upcoming videos. Thank you.